The massive holographic display aboard the hegemony flagship Eternal Dominion flickered with thousands of data points, each representing a human military installation. Supreme Commander Vex Thor's crystalline eyes narrowed as he studied the readings. According to their most advanced sensors, the primitive species called humans had exactly 2,847 defensive installations spread across their homeworld. Pathetic. Prepare the first wave, Vex Thor commanded, his metallic voice echoing through the bridge. These humans will make an excellent example to the younger races about the price of defiance. The hegemony had ruled the galaxy for over 50,000 years. They had crushed civilizations far more advanced than these humans, who had barely managed to reach their own moon. Their fleet of 10,000 ships would darken Earth's skies, and their ground forces would. Supreme Commander. The sensor officer's voice cracked with alarm. New contacts appearing. Vex Thor turned back to the display just in time to see hundreds of new signatures materialize from nowhere. Impossible. The humans had no cloaking technology. They barely had fusion power, yet there they were, ships appearing in perfect formation, emerging from what looked like tears in space itself. At the center of the human fleet was something that made even Vex Thor's crystalline body tense, a vessel larger than anything the hegemony had ever constructed, its hull gleaming with an odd, shifting material that seemed to drink in light itself. Supreme Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel. They're calling it the HSS Prometheus. The holographic display shifted, and Vex Thor found himself facing the human female. Admiral Sarah Chen wore a simple black uniform with no adornments save a small silver pin shaped like Earth. Her expression was calm, almost amused. Supreme Commander Vex Thor, she said, I hope you'll forgive our little deception. We've known about the hegemony for quite some time. Those primitive installations you detected, mostly automated decoys, we learned long ago that appearing weak is sometimes the best defense. Vex Thor's crystalline form vibrated with anger. Impossible. Our stealth technology was impressive 50,000 years ago, Chen interrupted. But you see, that's the problem with being at the top for so long. You stop innovating. Stop adapting. While you were busy ruling, we were busy learning, growing, preparing. The massive human vessel, Prometheus, began to move, and Vex Thor's sensors screamed warnings he'd never seen before. The ship's hull wasn't just absorbing light, it was bending reality itself. That's quantum-folded titanium, Chen explained, as if discussing the weather. Developed it about 15 years ago. Quite useful for storing pocket dimensions. Lets us pack a lot more punch than you'd expect. Would you like a demonstration? Before Vex Thor could respond, panels across the Prometheus's hull began to open. Not dozens, or even hundreds, but thousands of weapon ports, each housing technology that made his sensor officers babble in disbelief. You see, Supreme Commander, humanity had a choice to make when we first detected your scouts 30 years ago. We could have announced ourselves, joined your hegemony as servants. But we chose a different path. We chose to wait, to watch, to learn. And most importantly, to prepare. The sensor officer's voice was practically a whisper now. Supreme Commander, their weapons, they're like nothing we've ever seen. The energy readings, they're drawing power from the quantum fabric itself. Chen's smile widened slightly. We call it the quantum wake drive. Hard to detect something that exists in multiple dimensions at once, isn't it? But I'm sure a civilization as advanced as yours already knew that, right? Vex Thor had led the hegemony fleet for 3,000 years. He had never known defeat, never known fear. Until now. What do you want? He asked. Want? Oh, we want quite a lot, actually. Starting with the immediate withdrawal of your fleet. Then we'll discuss the independence of all those protectorate worlds you've been exploiting. And after that, Chen's eyes sparkled with something that made Vex Thor's crystalline form shiver. After that, we're going to have a long talk about the future of galactic civilization. Because you see, Supreme Commander, humanity doesn't just adapt. We help others adapt too. And I have a feeling there are quite a few species out there who'd be interested in learning how to stop being afraid of the hegemony. As Vexthor stared at the impossible human fleet before him, he realized that this wasn't just a military defeat. This was something far worse. This was change. And for the first time in 50,000 years, the hegemony would have to learn how to change with it. The age of stagnation was over. The age of humanity had begun. The hegemony's War Council chamber aboard the Eternal Dominion had never felt so tense. Vexthor stood before the holographic projections of the High Council, their crystalline forms shimmering with barely contained fury. "You mean to tell us," High Counselor Zixra's voice cut through the chamber like shattered glass, "that these humans, these barely spacefaring primitives, have developed technology that surpasses our own?" "The evidence is undeniable," Vexthor responded, projecting sensor data from their encounter. "Their quantum wake drive alone represents a fundamental understanding of physics that we haven't achieved in 50 millennia." The council chamber erupted in angry chatter, but a subtle gesture from Zixra silenced them. "Then explain, Supreme Commander, how this happened. How did we miss this?" Before Vexthor could respond, a new voice filled the chamber. "Perhaps I can answer that." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared in the center of the chamber, causing several council members to recoil in shock. The human admiral smiled. "Your security protocols are impressive, but like most of your technology, they haven't been updated in quite some time." "This is an outrage," one counselor bellowed. "How dare you? How dare we protect ourselves?" Chen interrupted. "How dare we prepare for the arrival of an empire known for subjugating lesser species?" "You're right. How dare we indeed." With a gesture, Chen brought up a series of historical records. Hegemony ships destroying civilizations that refused to submit, worlds stripped of resources, species reduced to servitude. "We've been watching you for decades," Chen continued. "Your empire is vast, but it's built on fear and stagnation. You haven't had to innovate because no one could challenge you, until now." The Admiral's hologram walked through the chamber, examining each council member in turn. "Would you like to know how we did it? How we developed our technology so quickly without you noticing?" Zixra's crystalline form pulsed with dark energy. "Enlighten us, human. We did it precisely because you thought we couldn't." Chen's hologram gestured, and new images appeared. Vast underground cities, orbital facilities hidden in dimensional pockets, research centers buried in quantum space. Every time your scouts reported our primitive fusion reactors, they missed the zero-point energy plants hidden beneath. When they saw our clumsy chemical rockets, they ignored the quantum slipstreams we were testing in subspace. You saw exactly what we wanted you to see. A young, struggling species barely worth your attention. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. They hadn't just underestimated human technology. They had underestimated human cunning. "But why reveal yourselves now?" Vexthor asked. "Why not continue hiding?" Chen's expression softened slightly. "Because despite what you might think, we're not like you. We don't want to rule through fear. We want to help." With another gesture, she brought up images of worlds throughout the hegemony, colonies, protectorates, subjugated species. "Your empire is crumbling. You've grown so focused on maintaining control that you've forgotten how to grow, how to adapt. But it's not too late to change." "You presume much, human," Zixra growled. "We could still destroy your world." "Could you?" Chen's hologram walked right up to the High Counselor. "Your sensors can't even penetrate our basic defenses anymore. You have no idea what we're truly capable of. But more importantly, you have no idea what you're truly capable of." She turned to address the entire council. "We're offering you a choice. Continue down your path of stagnation and face not just us, but every species you've suppressed once we show them how to break free. Or," she paused, letting the tension build, "or work with us. Let us help you remember how to innovate, how to grow. The galaxy is vast enough for all of us, but only if we're willing to evolve together. The council chamber erupted in debate, crystalline voices overlapping in a cacophony of argument and disbelief. But Vexthor noticed something unprecedented. Fear in their voices, yes, but also something else. Something he hadn't heard in thousands of years. Hope. As the debate raged on, Admiral Chen's hologram caught his eye and winked. She had planned this too, he realized. The humans hadn't just outmaneuvered them technologically. They had orchestrated this entire confrontation to force the hegemony to face its own stagnation. For the first time in his long existence, Vexthor wondered if perhaps defeat, at least defeat by these remarkable humans, might not be such a terrible thing after all. Deep within the HSS Prometheus, Dr. Maya Patel stood before a wall of swirling energy that shouldn't exist. The quantum core pulsed with colors that had no names in any human language, its surface rippling like liquid starlight. 20 years of her life had gone into this creation, and now it was about to change everything. Dr. Patel. Admiral Chen's voice came through the ship's comm system. The Hegemony Council is requesting a demonstration of our capabilities. Are you ready? Maya smiled, her hands dancing across the holographic controls. I've been ready for 20 years. Admiral. Initiating quantum fold sequence. Throughout the massive supercarrier, systems that defied conventional physics hummed to life. The quantum-folded titanium hull began to shift, its surface flowing like mercury as it accessed the pocket dimensions stored within its atomic structure. In the ship's primary command center, Admiral Chen addressed the assembled hegemony representatives. Vexthor and several council members had agreed to come aboard, a sign of either great courage or desperate curiosity. What you're about to witness, Chen explained, is the culmination of human innovation. The Prometheus isn't just a warship. It's a bridge between dimensions, a testament to what's possible when you refuse to accept limitations. The ship's quantum core surged, and suddenly the viewing windows showed not space, but something else entirely. Streams of probability collapsed and expanded in visible waves, reality itself bending around the vessel. Impossible, one of the hegemony counselors whispered. You're accessing quantum space directly. Not just accessing it. Maya's voice came through as she entered the command center. We're shaping it. The quantum realm isn't just a place to hide or travel through. It's a resource, a tool, a whole new frontier of possibility. She gestured to the swirling chaos outside. Your empire mastered physical space, but you never looked deeper. You never asked what lay beneath reality itself. But we did. Because that's what humans do. We question, we explore, we imagine. The Prometheus shuddered slightly as Maya activated another system. The quantum fields outside coalesced into something new, a massive structure emerging from seemingly nowhere. By the eternal void, Vexthor breathed. What is that? That, Admiral Chen said with pride, is our first quantum forge. A factory that exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously, capable of producing technologies that couldn't exist in normal space. And we've built hundreds of them. The hegemony representatives watched in stunned silence as the quantum forge demonstrated its capabilities. Ships appeared fully formed from quantum space, each incorporating technologies that their sensors couldn't even comprehend. Weapons that didn't just fire energy, but manipulated the fundamental forces of the universe. Defensive systems that didn't just block attacks, but rewrote the probability of them ever happening. This is why we reveal ourselves now, Maya explained, her eyes reflecting the quantum energies swirling outside. Not to threaten you, but to show you what's possible. Humanity hasn't just caught up to your technology. We've found entirely new paths you never explored. A junior hegemony officer, younger than the others, stepped forward. Could you teach us? Could we learn to do this too? Admiral Chen and Dr. Patil exchanged glances. This was the moment they'd hoped for. The first crack in the hegemony's shell of superiority, the first sign of genuine curiosity. That's exactly what we want, Chen replied. But it will require trust, partnership, Real cooperation, not domination. Are you ready for that? Before the hegemony representatives could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Maya's hands flew to her console, her expression darkening. Admiral, we're detecting multiple quantum ruptures. Something's coming through. Something big. The viewing windows cleared, showing normal space again. In the distance, massive shapes were emerging from tiers in reality. Ships, but not like anything human or hegemony. They moved like living things, their surfaces crawling with organic technology. The swarm, Vexthor whispered, his crystalline form paling. They've returned. After 30,000 years, the Devourers have returned. Admiral Chen's expression hardened as she studied the approaching threat. Then it seems humanity's first lesson to the hegemony will be about facing change together. Battle stations, all hands. And she turned to the hegemony representatives. If you're willing, we could use your experience with these creatures. For the first time, human and hegemony stood together, watching the ancient horror approach. The real test of humanity's innovations and the hegemony's ability to adapt was about to begin. The bridge of the Prometheus erupted in controlled chaos as the swarm vessels approached. Their bioorganic ships moved like a living nightmare, each one larger than the largest hegemony dreadnought. Dark tendrils of unknown energy writhed around their hulls, consuming any light that touched them. Tell me everything you know about them, Admiral Chen demanded, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Vexthor stepped forward, his crystalline form pulsing with ancient memories. The Devourers came before we achieved dominance. They don't conquer or subjugate. They consume, transform. Every world they touch becomes part of their biomass. Every species they encounter is absorbed into their collective. That's why you became what you are, Dr. Puddle realized, studying readings from the quantum sensors. Your crystalline form, your empire's need for absolute control, it was all a response to them. We had to become unchanging, Vexthor admitted, had to become strong enough that they could never transform us. But the price was our ability to adapt. The nearest swarm vessel suddenly accelerated, its massive form distorting as it moved. Energy readings spiked across all sensors. They're attacking, a sensor officer shouted. Admiral Chen's voice cut through the chaos. Dr. Patel, activate the quantum shield matrix. All hands, battle stations, and Vexthor. She turned to the hegemony commander. I hope you're ready to prove you can still adapt. The swarm's attack came not as energy weapons or physical projectiles, but as a wave of impossible mathematics. Space itself began to warp and twist, reality trying to reshape itself around the Prometheus. But the quantum-folded titanium hull glowed with inner light, layers of probability collapsing and reforming faster than thought. The swarm's attack splashed against it like water on stone. Incredible, Vexthor breathed. Their primary weapon, the reality warper, it has no effect. Because we're not fighting it, Dr. Paddle explained, her hands dancing across quantum controls. We're accepting the changes they're trying to force, but then using their own energy to reset our local spacetime. Action, reaction, adaptation. More swarm ships joined the attack, their combined power turning the void into a storm of corrupted physics. But the Prometheus held firm, its quantum core pulsing with newfound strength. Now, Admiral Chen commanded, show them what humanity can do. Maya. Dr. Patel nodded, activating systems that had never been tested in actual combat. The quantum forge hummed to life, and reality buckled around the Prometheus. The ship's response wasn't a conventional attack. Instead, quantum tendrils extended from its hull, each one carrying complex mathematical patterns that interface directly with the fabric of spacetime. Where they touched the swarm's bioorganic technology, something extraordinary happened. We're not just fighting them, Maya announced, her voice tight with concentration. We're communicating with them. Their biological technology, their ability to reshape reality. It's all based on quantum principles we've learned to manipulate. On the tactical display, The nearest swarm vessel's movements became erratic. Its surface rippled with conflicting patterns as humanity's quantum language overwrote its basic protocols. Vexthor watched in amazement as the massive ship began to transform, not into something consumed or destroyed, but into something new, something that combined the swarm's biological mastery with human quantum engineering. "You're converting them?" he asked in disbelief. "Making first contact," Admiral Chen corrected. "The real kind, not conquest or destruction. The swarm reshapes reality because that's how they communicate. They've been trying to talk to species across the galaxy for millennia, but no one could understand them. Until now." The transformed swarm vessel hung in space, its once dark surface now alive with swirling quantum patterns. More ships were approaching, but their movements had changed. No longer aggressive, but curious. "This is why we need each other," Chen said to Vexthor. "Your experience, your knowledge of the galaxy's history, combined with our ability to adapt and innovate. Together, we might not just survive the swarm, we might finally understand them." The hegemony commander studied the human admiral, seeing her species in a new light. They hadn't just developed advanced technology. They had found a way to bridge gaps that had existed for millennia, to turn ancient enemies into potential allies. As more swarm ships approached the Prometheus, ready to be transformed by its quantum language, Vexthor realized that the galaxy was about to change more in the next few moments than it had in the last 50,000 years. And for the first time in his long existence, he was looking forward to it. 1 month after the encounter with the swarm, Earth's orbital space had transformed beyond recognition. The quantum-transformed swarm vessels hung in synchronized orbits alongside hegemony ships and human vessels, their once threatening forms now pulsing with harmonious patterns of light. Admiral Chen stood in the Prometheus's observation deck, watching as teams of human scientists, crystalline hegemony engineers, and bioorganic swarm entities worked together on the construction of the first interspecies quantum communication hub. The massive structure grew like a living thing, combining the best aspects of all three civilizations. "I never imagined this outcome," Vexthor admitted, his crystalline form reflecting the kaleidoscope of energies outside. "When we first detected your world, we thought we were coming to subjugate primitives. Instead, you've shown us a path we never knew existed." Dr. Petal joined them, her quantum interface implants glowing softly as she communicated with both the swarm and her human colleagues simultaneously. "The swarm's biological quantum technology is extraordinary," she said. "They've been trying to elevate species for millions of years, seeking partners who could comprehend their level of existence. But their attempts at communication always appeared as attacks." Through the quantum viewport, they watched as a swarm entity demonstrated its natural ability to manipulate reality, while human scientists helped translate these manipulations into understandable patterns. Hegemony archivists recorded everything, their perfect memory now serving as a bridge between past and future. "And now," Vexthor asked, "what becomes of the galaxy?" Admiral Chen smiled. "Now we all grow together. The hegemony's experience and historical knowledge, humanity's innovation and adaptability, the swarm's mastery of quantum biology. Imagine what we can achieve when we combine all three." As if in response to her words, the communication hub spawned a new structure, a quantum projection of pure mathematics that represented the first true three-way conversation between the species. The equations spoke of possibilities that none of them could have conceived of alone. "The younger races are already responding to the changes," Vexthor noted. "Those we once called protectorates are showing remarkable potential now that they're free to develop naturally. With guidance, not control," Chen added. "That's the key difference. We teach, we share, we grow together. No more empires, no more subjugation. Just collaboration and mutual advancement." Dr. Patel's implants pulsed as she received a transmission from the swarm. "They're ready to show us something," she announced. something they've been waiting millions of years to share with a species capable of understanding it. The quantum viewport shifted, showing a realm beyond normal spacetime. The swarm had discovered paths between universes, ways to access dimensions beyond anything humans or the hegemony had imagined. But they had been alone in their understanding, unable to find others who could comprehend these higher realities. A gift, Maya translated, and an invitation. They want us, all of us, to help them explore these new frontiers, not as separate species, but as partners. Admiral Chen turned to Vexthor. Your people feared change for so long, seeing it only as a path to destruction. But change can also mean growth, discovery, evolution. Are you ready to embrace that? The crystalline commander was silent for a long moment, his form shifting with internal light as he processed this new reality. Finally, he spoke. For 50,000 years, we thought we were preserving civilization by keeping it static. Now I understand. True civilization only exists when it's free to grow. Outside, the communication hub reached completion, its quantum matrices linking minds and ideas across species barriers that had once seemed insurmountable. The structure blazed with possibility, a physical manifestation of what could be achieved when different species chose to work together instead of against each other. Humanity's greatest strength, Chen said softly, was never our technology or our adaptability. It was our ability to imagine something better than what existed before, to look at an enemy and see a potential friend, to face the unknown not with fear, but with curiosity. The quantum viewport showed ships departing Earth's orbit, mixed crews of humans, hegemony and swarm, heading out to share their combined knowledge with the galaxy. Each vessel carried the seeds of transformation, not through force or subjugation, but through understanding and cooperation. This is just the beginning, Dr. Paddle said, her eyes reflecting the quantum light of new possibilities. Together, we're not just exploring space anymore. We're reshaping reality itself, learning what it truly means to evolve. As the three of them watched their combined civilizations take their first steps into a transformed galaxy, they understood that this was more than just a political alliance or technological advancement. It was the dawn of something entirely new, a future where different species could maintain their uniqueness while growing together, where ancient enemies could become partners in exploration, and where the greatest adventures still lay ahead. The age of separation was over. The age of unity had begun.